We are continuing to count down the days until KTVB's platinum anniversary coming up in July. And in doing so, we're continuing our dip into the KTVB archive pool of old stories. We did this show back in the 1990s. Remember the 1990s, kids? Well, it was called Exploring Idaho, and it ran from 1993 to 1998. Once a month, it would showcase Idaho's unique beauty and adventure that is out there for everyone to find. 26 years ago this month, in 1997, with snow levels in Idaho's mountains much deeper than we're seeing this year, the crew took a trip to the Snake River to see the Shoshone Falls, the Niagara of the West, in all its glory in one of its biggest runs ever.
The raw power of Shoshone Falls on the Snake River is a sight and sound to behold this spring. Its massive waters impress even locals who have visited the attraction for years.
I don't believe I've ever seen this much water.
Tremendous amount of water.
Awesome, that's all I can think of. Grandchildren say awesome for everything, and this is what they should see.
Awesome indeed, and not yet at its fullest. Still in the early part of spring, the 212-foot Niagara of the West is headed for an all-time record.
Last year was our largest water year, I think, in the last 13 years. Right now we have as much, if not more than we had last year during peak runoff in June.
With a full month to go before it hits its peak, about 180,000 gallons spill over the edge every second. Now think about it, 180,000 gallons every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day. And it's only getting bigger.
Well, the force of the water always just scares me.
For visitor Marjorie Stroud, the falls is incredible and intimidating. Watching the water boil to a misty bottom, she can't help but wonder if anyone was ever so unfortunate as to pass over the edge.
I certainly wouldn't want to go over the falls, I'll tell you. No way.
But almost 70 years ago, an adventurous lumberjack by the name of Al Fawcett would. In July of 1929, Fawcett took the spill of a lifetime. His craft was a canvas-covered canoe. He braced it with ribs of spruce, then stuffed it with truck tire inner tubes. At 5 o'clock in the evening, Fawcett slid himself into his craft, zipped the canvas hatch, and was pushed into the current. Fawcett picked up speed, then plunged over the drop. A crowd of 5,000 spectators watched speechless as he fell. When his craft resurfaced in the mist at the bottom, out popped Fawcett with an ear-to-ear grin. His only injury was a broken hand. But others were not so fortunate. In 1882, a ferry was established about 200 yards upriver from the falls. Idaho author Court Conley writes that it takes little imagination to understand why business was never brisk. And history has it, on more than one occasion, the cable broke, sending passengers to a watery grave.
Feel that water almost vibrate you, and it's unreal the amount of force that's behind just a little bit of falling water.
Today, about the only person who comes close to the falling water is Idaho power worker Dennis Brayman.
Underneath here we have the water that's pouring over the top of us, and right now there's about a foot of water going over the top.
This old concrete spillway was completed in 1907. Back then, it produced enough electricity to power the entire city of Twin Falls. In 1921, a second power plant was added at the base of the falls that doubled the output. Today, the two combined create enough electricity to power only about a third of the growing city of Twin Falls. Idahoans have found other ways to harness this stretch of the Snake River. About 20 miles upriver from Shoshone Falls, Milner Dam puts the magic in Magic Valley.
They call it Magic Valley because it magically bloomed when they put water on it.
Completed in 1904, Milner Dam diverts millions of gallons of water into an extensive canal system. Every year, the water feeds 365,000 acres of thirsty farmland.
The Snake River certainly is the heart of the valley.
Magic Valley farmer and Idaho legislator Doug Jones says the water makes this would-be desert some of the most fertile agricultural ground in the country.
The soil was good, it's good climate, but the water was the magic. It made it come to life.
But there is a trade-off. In midsummer, Milner Dam becomes a turn valve for its downstream companion. And when irrigation is at its peak, scenic Shoshone Falls is reduced to a trickle. So if you want to see the falls at a record high, plan your visit between now and mid-June. It's a sight and sound you won't soon forget.
Spectacular.
This is wonderful.
It's the most beautiful it's ever been.
Yeah, very, very impressive.
That was Jennifer Eisenhart, by the way, the reporter during that story. 180,000 gallons per second, you heard her say. To put that in perspective, we measure the speed and volume of the Boise River in cubic feet per second. 180,000 gallons per second is more than 24,000 CFS. Boise River right now is running at 4,400 CFS, to kind of give you an idea what that's like. Believe it or not, it was 2 years later, in 1999, when there was absolutely no water run over the Shoshone Falls.
At the Shoshone Falls souvenir shop, Tammy can show you a Shoshone Falls postcard, mug, magnet, or keychain. The one thing she can't show you is Shoshone Falls. Shut off, dried up, almost completely arrested.
I can't run around back and turn it on.
From what I remember, was so much water actually caused a mist to come over.
And a rainbow.
And a rainbow, yeah.
Not today.
Not today. Well, John Miller stopped by to see Shoshone Falls not falling in 2001, so 2 years after that drought began, and it lasted for 6 years until 2005. Water only went over the falls for about an hour in June of 2004 to celebrate Twin Falls Centennial. So maybe you're thinking, hey, we have a lot of snow in Idaho's mountains this year. The Snake River has to be ripping right now, right? Not so much. This is a live look right now at Shoshone Falls. After Snowmageddon, the Snake River was sending about 20,000 CFS over the falls by mid-April. 2019, it hit about 10,000 CFS by May, but right now, it's only at 366 cubic feet per second coming over the top of that. Why is it so low, you're probably asking, when the Boise River is running so high right now, 12 times as fast? Well, in that Exploring Idaho story, you heard Jennifer talk about the Milner Dam, which diverts water from the Snake River to irrigate all the farmland in the Magic Valley. We were told today that water is still being diverted upstream to fill all of the reservoirs in the area. And given what we've been through the last few years, they have some deep holes to fill. Idaho Power tells us the 11 major reservoirs on the Snake River above Brownlee Dam, they're only about 56% full right now, just 80% of where they should be this time of year. According to water managers, the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, we likely won't see much more water past the Milner Dam this season. And if we do, it won't be until late May or early June. And even then, it likely won't be higher than 2,500 CFS. Just more evidence, one good water year doesn't undo all the string of bad ones we've seen.